Hello, and welcome to the Mediaocean Current, our monthly-ish webinar series. My name is Aaron Goldman. I'm the CMO at Mediaocean, coming to you live from our Chicago office. In case you're wondering about the sign behind me that says Weird Science, it's not a reference to the AI stuff we're doing here. All our conference rooms are named after movies filmed in Chicago. So that's one of them, among the many that John Hughes filmed here. So Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club, etc. A little bit of trivia for you. Okay, we've got a great webinar lined up today covering creative automation and intelligence in a choose your own adventure format. So more on that in a second. We can advance. We'll kick things off shortly with Grant Parker, our CRO. He'll share an overview of key market trends in the industry as a backdrop to our focus on creative. And then we'll bring up our strategy team led by John Marouz to put things in the context of Flashtalking and how we're orienting our solution to meet the needs of the industry. And he'll be joined by Megan Gull and Ricky Davis, and they're actually going to let our audience decide what content we focus on. So our presentation is built modularly. And so when the time comes, we'll launch a poll and ask everyone to vote on what you want us to cover, and our team shall oblige. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to Grant to set the table. For those that don't know, Grant's been with Mediaocean since the acquisition of 4C, where he was also a CRO. He joined 4C in 2014. So it's been a great run, and his career dates all the way back to the early days of Resolution Media, going on probably about 20 or so years ago. In fact, that's where we first met and worked together. So it's been an awesome journey from the early days of searching keywords to omni-channel and omni-format. Here we are, certainly seen a lot during that time, and now we're going to focus on where we are now. And with that, Grant, over to you.
Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it. And many fond memories of our early days at Resolution Media. But today we're going to talk more about the future and what we mean by creative technology and why is it such a need. So I'm going to take you through some of the things that we're seeing in the industry that really speak to the need for advertising technology to address creative with urgency. The first thing I want to point out is that consumers are incredibly distracted, whether it's the second screen, the proliferation of channel choice, the amount of content, the research we've seen says that upwards of 80% of all digital ad impressions are viewed while a consumer is distracted by something else, whether that's another screen or other content. So it's a problem. Compounding that, data is deprecating. So people are talking about the cookie going away, and the reality is it's already happening. Advertisers that we work with are reporting as high as 30 to 40% signal loss already happening today from whether it's iOS or Safari, ad blockers, walled gardens. So it's getting harder and harder to reach those consumers who are already distracted. We've spent the last as an industry 10 to 15 years optimizing for a programmatic or a digital model by pulling levers around bids, budgets, audience IDs, and placements. But we're really reaching a point of diminishing returns where it's harder and harder to reach consumers, it's more expensive, and everybody has the same advantage with ubiquitous ad tech that's focused on these media levers. Despite all this, consumers want and demand that brands speak directly to them and their needs. They want a personalized experience. And when they get it, they're more likely to become a customer. And we have research here from McKinsey that shows 71% of consumers expect personalized interactions with companies, and 78% of consumers are more likely to repeat purchases from brands that speak to them where they are in the moment. So how do marketers thrive? They need the technology that actually focuses on the most important lever in media investment and ROI of their marketing dollars, the creative message. There's a study from Nielsen that we're showing on the screen that speaks to how much bigger an impact or how much larger an impact creative can make than any other lever in technology for advertising or goals for advertising. It's not just an important thing, it's the most important thing. So how do we get to this kind of nirvana of omni-channel creative relevance? Well, there's four things I'm going to talk about that are really important to consider. The first is working with technology partners that bring talent and teach talent. So that means that they have a consultative expertise in change management and understanding of how to make creative more relevant and automate that process. And they're not just consultants, but they're actually teachers, and they will help you to embody that in your own organization. The second thing is ensuring that the systems that you're using for message iteration and creative generation and production are actually connected and automated for distribution to all channels. The third thing is creative relevancy and personalization within and across these channels and touch points needs to be done in a way that really moves the consumer through their journey with your brand. So you need to understand not just message sequencing, but omni-channel message sequencing and how creative relevance plays a role at different phases of the funnel. And then lastly, you really need to ensure that you're set up to measure not just the ROI, but what's actually working from a creative standpoint. And we're seeing that there are new capabilities in artificial intelligence that can actually help classify and identify all of the elements within an ad and automatically start to surface insights about what is resonating within a creative message for which audience that helps you then optimize and iterate either live during the campaign or for future deployments. So those are 4 things to think about as you follow us on this journey to leveraging creative as the driver of ROI in the future and as a way to stay relevant with a distracted and hard to reach consumer. I'm going to turn it over to John Marouz, who's going to talk a little bit more about how we're doing this with our technology today.
Great, thanks, Grant. Megan, Ricky, and I will be tag teaming this section. So I'm going to take the first leg and we'll be handing off to them. So you'll have a variety of voices and won't have to listen to me the whole time. So first up first is what's Flashtalking about? So let's just give you kind of the lens for how we look at the marketplace. Flashtalking has been and continues to be the ad tech solution for creative marketers. And ultimately, as the slide shows here, it's all about connecting your brand story across a fragmented omni-channel ecosystem. So the problem is this, we all get so focused on media fragmentation, and indeed media fragmentation is the big challenge that we're all trying to overcome in the marketplace, but unfortunately that leads to complexity. So think about the growth of your tech stack over time, right? At some point you started with an ad server, and then maybe you layered on display DCO, and then maybe to address the video market, you layered on a video provider, and then of course you've got social in there. And now you're getting more and more complexity in your stack. And what happens? Well, your creative strategy and your creative execution falls victim to that. Your creative execution becomes very siloed. You're trying to execute creative in each one of those point solutions. And as a result, it really flies in the face of what you're trying to do here with creating this connected brand story. And that's really not the way it should be. There's nothing more sacred to a brand than its messaging strategy. Nothing's more important than achieving consistency and relevance across channels. So Flashtalking is really leaning into that problem for our advertising and agency partners. And it's all about creating the most powerful, connected, and intelligent creative solutions. And that enables you to produce, version, activate, measure, and improve your creative across social, open web, and CTV. So that's really the top line. That's our brand promise, if you will, to all of you. So let's talk a little bit more deeply about how we deliver on that. So this next slide here, I'm a strategist. Megan, Ricky are strategists. We love strategic context. So we're going to start here with a little bit of strategic context and help you understand how Flashtalking fits into the Mediaocean brand and the Mediaocean company. And then we'll drill down on specifics here. So it all starts with the brand. Every brand is defined by its communications framework, and that comprises campaigns, audiences, messages, channels, and data. Coming out of this framework are 3 key strategies, and Mediaocean as a company has all 3 legs of the stool covered. So the first one here, as you see, is media strategy, and many of you, especially on the agency side, are familiar with Prisma. This is our ad infrastructure business, if you will, the legacy Mediaocean business. And those of you who work for agencies, you're in that system every day. You understand that that's all the system of record for the financials around the media strategy. The second leg is about audience strategy. And that's all about enabling advertisers to exercise ownership and control of their strategic audiences. And Mediaocean addresses this with a solution called Audience Hub. Again, we're not going to be talking about that today, but that is definitely part of our arsenal. What we will be talking about today is this final piece, which is creative strategy. So let's dig in a little bit deeper there. So what we're going to share with you today is a high-level view of the Flashtalking platform. And what we're trying to do is make this very easy for you to understand and also help people understand where they plug in into our stack. So we're very proud of the fact that we've created a platform that not only supports the basics, namely design, production, versioning, activation, reporting, and optimization, but we've also built in unique differentiators that you're not going to find anywhere else. First and foremost, we're agnostic. We're able to integrate with a brand's tech stack, and we're able to execute personalization within their current workflows, processes, and preferred partners. We've also got embedded intelligence in here, and you'll see that come out in the story. It's using AI to automatically append creative metadata to allow advertisers to learn in action on what they learn about their creative in market. It's also about having auto optimization, where we can automatically craft and serve up creative that is relevant in the moment for audiences, and it's discovered in real time versus being decisioned ahead of time with rules. We've also future-proofed the platform with a means for measurement, attribution, and decisioning that are not reliant on cookies. Grant mentioned data deprecation. That's the big challenge, right? Well, we've got all these cookieless solutions now that help you not only with measurement, but also with personalization. And so we'll be talking a little bit about that as well. And finally, we do this all while providing first-class service and support levels. We have very low employee attrition here. We've got people who've worked for this company for years. They're very experienced working with advertisers across all verticals, and we view that as a very essential part of our value proposition as well. And perhaps most importantly, what you're seeing on the screen here, we deliver all of this with a very simple, intuitive workflow that's organized around creating, automating, activating, and ultimately iterating on your creative. So what we're going to do, as we mentioned, is going to be a choose your own adventure. So Megan and Ricky are going to start by walking you through a high level of all four of these bubbles. And then spoiler alert, at the end of that, we're going to ask you to select one of these areas that are of particular interest to you. And we're going to craft the second part of the agenda according to the needs of this audience. And we're going to show you some deep dives on a couple of these. We'll probably have room for 2, maybe if we're lucky 3. So without further ado, let me turn this over to Megan, and she'll take you through Create.
Thanks, John, and hello, everyone. So we'll kick it off with the first step in that process, and that is Create. This is where creative concepts are designed and built, and the goal here is really to make it beautiful, but do so within a flexible framework that creates efficiencies throughout the entire process. We know consumers' attention spans continue to dwindle, and as Grant stated earlier, creative is of increasing importance and even the most important lever to drive true results. So that's why our creation tools allow for teams to make investments work harder so you can focus on what matters, and that's really creating for relevant impact. So we've designed our creation tools to fit within your workflow, whether that's leveraging our creative tools or integrating with third-party tools. When it comes to our creative tools, we offer an in-platform cross-channel ad designer, and it's built with ease of use and speed in mind, offering a really wide range of creative flexibility, including dynamic asset capabilities. We also offer advanced video production that scales even the most sophisticated video assets. But we also understand that creative agencies and productions teams have their own preferences. That's why we offer other off-the-shelf web tools like Adobe Animate, Web Designer, as well as partners such as Celtra or Storytech who can integrate directly with us. So ultimately, creation's about building creative concepts curated from a single asset library and used to create across all channels, platforms, and formats. And then easily scale those concepts for personalization based on truly getting the most out of your audience and messaging strategy. So let's take a look. We have a client example here. Here we have Paramount Plus, who did just exactly that. The brand wanted to be able to feature local game schedules to consumers and then update creative with real-time game information, but also do this across display, video, and social formats. And at face value, this sounds like a very heavy lift, right? So we partnered with them to develop a creative framework that would make this not only a reality, but make it easy for them. They were able to really reap the benefits of our tools and internal support teams to generate and quickly render all the assets needed for each game and location from that single framework, getting even complex scaled video messaging in market efficiently. The result here was a single omni-channel concept where all formats were updated, leveraging a single workflow to deliver more targeted and relevant message to the right location, about the right team, with the right game based on game time.
All right, so if we move to the second phase of our workflow, the goal here is to help you to quickly and intelligently scale your creative message. So what value exactly does this bring? Well, first, diverse messaging enables brands to achieve personalized messaging, relevant messaging, creative testing, or any combination of those. And second, the speed allows brands to react and respond quickly to the market, to their consumers, to campaign learnings, and to their own business. Knowing today's consumers both demand and reward relevant, timely, and accurate advertising, speed and scale is truly vital to brands when it comes to their advertising. The way that we're delivering our creative automation here is done in 3 core components. The first is versioning. Our tools give clients the flexibility to build an infinite number of messages in the way that works best for their team, processes, and formats. This includes choosing between generating messages 1 at a time or 1,000 at a time. It includes selectively defining and curating every version or leveraging machine learning to generate every possible version. It includes the ability to integrate real-time data feeds or content into the message. And it includes being able to offer all of these solutions for all channels, whether it be display, video, CTV, social, or honestly, more than likely, several of these at once. But no matter the route, the end is the same. Our versioning capabilities allow brands to quickly generate and iterate messaging at the scale and speed their business demands. Now, in hand with creative at scale is the ability to learn about your creative performance, so you generate new messages with intent. We don't want you to build 1,000 messages just because we can. We want to make sure that we're supporting intelligent creative development. So to do that, we've developed an automated AI-based creative labeling solution. This allows brands to apply descriptive labels to all of their creative messaging, allowing them to easily identify things like color scheme, image type, copy tone, CTA placement, sentiment, or offer type. And having all of these will make filtering and searching, reporting and analyzing, and optimizing creative much easier and more accessible for all teams. And the last but equally important piece of this kind of process is providing clients with interactive review and approval platforms. Whether it be the creative labels associated to your messages or the message itself, you will have access to bulk preview and editing platforms to ensure everything is brand approved before pushing it live. Now, if we look at a quick example, Century 21 is one partner who has seen true value from our omni-channel creative automation capabilities. Like many brands who have a national footprint rooted in market level success, Century 21 struggled to translate a single brand approved message into hundreds of locally actionable versions without creating inefficiencies to their workflow. And with a creative strategy rooted in video and inclusive of CTV, that translation became significantly more complicated. Fortunately, our creative tools supported the design of a custom video concept that both highlights their national brand video and organically features localized content. When that's then paired with our automation and our versioning solution, we were able to generate more than 11,000 unique ads using one creative concept. This allowed Century 21 to highlight all of their office locations, offer direct access to the local agents in the area, and according to Century 21, it generated 90% greater efficiency in their creative workflow. And then when those 11,000 versions were served in their appropriate locations, they also saw a 17% increase in video completion rate. So speaking of getting the right message to the right place, to the right person, this is actually the perfect transition to the next part of our work.
Thanks, Ricky. Yep, so this third part is activate, all about making it connect. There are many creative providers that manage and generate creative, but it often stops there, right? And this creates a very manual disconnect across teams. So you've generated all your creative, yet getting it where it needs to go quickly and efficiently is a very important piece of the overall equation. So Flashtalking, being an integrated creative platform, has the ability to connect and activate your creative across open web, CTV, as well as all major social platforms. Yet, given that social is a closed ecosystem, activation for the open web and social are unique. We'll start with an overview on social. So our social ads manager provides a single interface with an advanced and consistent tool set that truly makes cross-publisher management automated at every step. Here, you can leverage one platform to assign traffic and manage creative directly into your campaigns across platforms, from TikTok, Meta, Pinterest, Snap, LinkedIn, Twitter, and even Google. Audience activation tools also add value here, with first-party data integrations to ingest and distribute across publishers, along with ready-to-go third-party marketplace segments, and then proprietary audience expansion opportunities as well. We all know activating across social is full of manual day-to-day tasks. Our tools consolidate and really automate across platforms from a single user interface, making it easier for teams to drive the efficiencies that they need and truly grow the business. So we'll talk about activation in open web, and this includes CTV. So we leverage our own ad server, the leading choice of many brands seeking an independent alternative to Google. Our campaign manager trafficking tool, has been designed with the assistance of experienced ad op professionals to really optimize that speed and efficiency needed. Many senior agency teams even routinely comment that Flashtalking enables them to get campaigns out the door 20 to 40% faster than Google. We accelerate those ongoing campaign updates by making tracking, measurement, and creative changes on the back end. And what does that mean? That means no need for retrafficking tags. Activating also in the face of cookie deprecation is a growing challenge. We offer ways to help you manage with the choice of identifiers. And then finally, we give you maximum flexibility to personalize the delivery of your creative through rules-based decisioning for those that might need and desire more complete control over their decisioning rules. And we also offer machine learning for those that are a little bit more open to letting algorithms figure out which creative works best for a particular consumer in that moment. This all leading us to delivering relevant and engaging messages to the right consumer in the moment. And in that process, as John mentioned earlier, we're connecting the brand story across the fragmented omni-channel ecosystem. In our industry, we often hear the need to solve for media fragmentation. Rather than solving it, we're really helping manage and navigate with ease by streamlining those disparate workflows, scaling technology, not people. By taking these cumbersome tasks, we're really freeing up your time to focus on what's truly important to the business, and that's growth. So another client example here to illustrate activation, Subway. Like many large quick service restaurants, they struggled to activate their timely app promotional campaigns. The team had to manually update the creative with reoccurring offer updates, then retraffic campaigns individually across channels. Sometimes delays and dark periods happened through those manual tasks, but by leveraging our tools to create a dynamic framework with that same flexibility we saw in the previous Paramount example, the Subway framework easily versioned ads across channels, languages, and audiences, On top of that, the Flashtalking team helped to incorporate one promotional feed that truly automated the offer updates across both social and open web. The teams here were able to save time and resources all through that automated trafficking process. So truly delivering more relevant and timely messaging across channels without the heavy lift. Subway continues to activate and grow their cross-channel strategy by leveraging the streamlined activation workflow. So I will kick it back to Maruz.
Actually, I'm going to jump in before Maruz because we have one more step within our process that we want to talk about, and that is all about learning and making your campaigns work harder, and that is the iterate phase. Now, there's three essential parts to this. The first is just basic information gathering through our operational reports and dashboards. The second is converting that information into insights. And then the third and most important is taking action to apply those learnings to improve creative effectiveness. Whether it be a tactical adjustment like shifting spend across publishers or introducing new audiences, or a creative adjustment like changing your messaging strategy or adding in a new version, the goal is always to learn and then optimize. But it's not a one-time stagnant process. We could have easily called this last phase report or measure. But the choice of the word iterate is deliberate because it implies not just action, but repeated action. We believe it's important for marketers to develop their own test and learn process. And we believe that if you make this process a part of your organizational DNA, your creative will continually work harder for you. Because of that, we're doing everything we can to make those developmental and adoption processes easy, which includes creating reports and dashboards that are built for transparency, accessibility, and cross-channel insights. Because if we can help you be successful, we know we've succeeded as your strategic creative technology partner. Now, as with every example shown today, the way our solutions provide value to clients vary pretty widely. And our learning and optimization tools are no different. MGM is a client who, like many, has established and proven prospecting strategies, but they're also regularly exploring ways in which they could expand those efforts and reach net new customers. Weather quickly became of interest, and specifically, MGM was hoping to understand the impact of weather-driven headlines and images, and then use those learnings to influence future messaging strategies. While our activation tools ensured the right message was served based on real-time weather conditions, our Iterate tools offered reporting at equal granularity. We were able to prove that not only does weather offer incremental reach as a tactic, but it also drove bookings and provided key insight for future optimizations. Their weather-based messaging strategies were more effective when served to users experiencing poor weather conditions like fog and rain and snow. And those drove an 11% lift in page visits versus those more fair weather conditions. Now, moving forward, MGM can optimize their weather-based strategy and make room for a new test and learn opportunity.
Great. So thank you, Megan. Thank you, Ricky. So let's bring it all together. So what we've shared with you here, just as by means of summary, is it all starts with create, which is about creating compelling concepts that convey your brand promise, align with your messaging strategy, and achieve campaign objectives. That progresses into automate, which is about making it scale. It's the scalable production of creative versions, as well as label assignments for creative elements and setting the groundwork for your actionable insights. We then enter the activate phase, which is all about activating your message strategy across both social platforms and the social ecosystem, as well as open web and CTV. And finally, it's about iterating, making your creative better, using the reporting and the data to generate the learnings and actionable insights to really accelerate and amplify your creative. So now for a little audience participation. We obviously have a lot of content we could deep dive into here, but we're limited on time and we want to be sensitive to everyone's time. So we'd like you on your screen to vote for the topic you would like to see more about. And then we'll take a look here after we see the results, and we'll kind of focus our energy in order of priority based on your interests. All right, automate is the clear winner. So based on what I'm seeing here, we'll go with automate, then create, and time permitting, we'll see if we have time for then iterate and activate. So I think for starters, we're going to go with automate, and I believe that's you, Ricky.
It sure is. Thank you for that. All right. So rather than talking about what our creative automation tools can do, we're going to use the next few minutes to actually illustrate some of those capabilities. We're going to use our CPG brand, Zoe Cosmetics, and focus on video. But I just want to repeat to people, we're trying to give you some illustration of our capabilities. We can dive into a lot more detail. So if you want to see how this can come to life for your brand or a different format, definitely please reach out. We'd love to do a deep dive with each of you. So as I mentioned earlier today, the first component of creative automation is versioning, which simply means taking a single creative concept, like the one that you see on the left side, and then generating hundreds or thousands of variations from it. The 4 examples shown on the right here illustrate how new versions can be generated with a simple change of assets, whether it be an update to the product image or the headline, the call to action, or really any element in here. The result will be a library of unique versions that can be used for testing, personalization, or any data-driven strategy. Now, I imagine for many of you here, the concept is not new, but the idea of introducing dynamic images and text overlays to enhance your video is an easy and still very effective way to scale and evolve your messaging strategies, especially if you have access to a limited number of videos. And the layout here is only one idea. As you saw in our Century 21 example, and as Megan will show you when she reviews our creative tools, the way in which these concepts are designed are custom to not just the brand, but the objective and to the video itself, because we don't want to offer you all tools for scale at the cost of the creative quality. But our versioning capabilities actually go beyond just text and image updates. For one, introducing new video files can significantly increase the scale and impact of your creative message. Here, we've used the exact same concept that was shown on the previous page, but by adding new video content, we've now significantly increased the volume of variation that you see. Now, I hope you can begin to imagine how scalable this can become. For example, what if you had several video clips that you wanted to stitch together to make a new video? And perhaps you actually wanted to change the order of those clips and see what kind of order drove the most performance. Or what if you had a video, but you only wanted to change a single element, like the product someone was holding or an image on the wall? And now imagine all of these video variations along with all of the text and image updates that you can make. The possibilities become endless, and so your version opportunities become infinite when you have access to a truly advanced versioning tool like ours. Now let's go back to the first Zoe example and think about scale in another way. 10 years ago, when someone said video, and maybe even 5 years ago, there was really only 1, maybe 2 executions that came to mind. But today we have an entire ecosystem of video formats that represent different sizes, aspect ratios, platforms, and devices. And that list doesn't even count the publisher and site-specific requirements. But good news is our tools automatically adapt to all of those variations for you. Not only does our versioning process accommodate a variety of layouts and formats, our tools automatically reposition and optimize a single asset to work across all of these layouts and formats. Additionally, our advanced rendering solution automatically adapts and generates each video to the unique specifications of all your partners and all their platforms. The combination of these 2 technologies offers extraordinary efficiency to achieve market-ready creative files at scale. Now, earlier today, I also mentioned the ability to incorporate live data or content feeds into your creative. Doing so offers another level of automation scale to your versioning process. but traditionally data feeds have been associated to only display and video. Now, in a world where marketers need to think audience first and be channel agnostic, feeds has to play a role across all channels for both consistency and efficiency. With our omni-channel focus, brands can not only unify their open web and CTV and social creative versioning, but the automation, accuracy, and time savings that feed-based strategies offer can be applied across channels as well. With your versioning and scale processes solved, the next piece is understanding how we can apply creative labels with equal efficiency and automation. The first step is to define the types of labels that are most relevant for your business and objective. As shown here, those label values can cover anything from color to text position, image to tone to language. Now, to help simplify the process, because those options are pretty endless, our platform offers a growing, readily available list of labels, both based on creative best practices as well as verticalized expertise that brands can simply select from. We also offer complete customization for advertisers who would prefer to develop a set of labels exclusive to their brand and their business. In either case, these labels will provide insight and functionality that go beyond the creative and support deeper learning. And by defining your creative labels at the advertiser level, you now have access to a standardized data set that can persist across all of your creative messages, including video, social, and display. Once you've defined your list of labels, you can either manually apply which labels should be associated to what creative message, or you can automate the process with our AI technology. Assuming you're going to go the automated route, our AI technology scans, identifies, and then automatically classifies every element of the creative so that it can determine if and which labels should then be applied for you. As you can see in the image here, this offers a simple turnkey way to identify both similarities and differences between creatives and across formats. The final aspect of our creative automation is the creative review and approval process. As shown here, our platform offers several ways to preview your creative, whether it be individual creative previews within our versioning tool, previewing all of your versions in our creative preview interface, or previewing in bulk in one scrollable page. With this, brands will not only have a comprehensive access to view all of the versions that have been developed, but they also have complete creative control to ensure nothing goes to market that isn't brand approved. And then I think, John, according to the survey, I'm passing over to Megan for Create.
That's correct. We're going to Create. Take it away, Megan.
All right. This choose your own adventure is really illustrating how we can plug in at each pivotal step in your process or provide tools from beginning to end, right? And that often starts with Create. So we'll deep dive here. Starting with our first Flashtalking creative tool, Ad Studio. Ad Studio is designed for really simplifying the design process with drag and drop features, making it extremely user-friendly. Here is where production teams can scale their assets by adding things like dynamic elements and sourcing information directly from data feeds. Ad Studio also has intelligence to optimize image and video components based on the source assets, really generating the highest quality output. But if you prefer designing in Photoshop, you can continue to leverage and import your work directly into Ad Studio to layer in animation and dynamic content. It's really truly a tool that delivers flexibility of use. And additionally, the platform has built-in AI that makes it easy to import your designs within the same channel, or even move them from social to display to CTV, for example. This AI also helps with things like automatic layout and has different features like smart framing, for example, to truly save time. And video continues to grow in importance. Designing and producing video at scale is challenging and often a costly feat. We recognize this and have invested in an even more advanced video production tool set that enables video personalization at scale. Our creative suite includes a timeline that closely resembles After Effects. So if you're familiar with After Effects and its advanced features for building video, this will easily translate. Our tool is really, it's built for scale and speed and has some proprietary technology designed to enable you to quickly create and scale at a low cost. In fact, things like we offer just-in-time rendering and can handle a variety of video clips and assets. You're really able to customize this tool in an advanced way, build HTML templates for responsive layouts. For example, this can be extremely helpful for, let's say, auto brands with ad stacks that need to be dynamically resized based on the amount of texts in different languages. The HTML interface is shown here on this slide. In addition, the tool offers dynamic audio, something that's growing in popularity and exploration. And it also includes other advanced features, including motion tracking, rotoscoping, and motion blur. This allows for dynamic scenes and elements to be placed directly into objects within the video. So for example, such as a phone or TV screen or even on a wall, or possibly even to dynamically change out something in the background like a weather scene outside of a window. And really all of this is to power the goal of engaging and innovative video at scale. And we also believe that to create dynamic ads, our native tools are the most streamlined and efficient options. But as mentioned earlier today, we also understand that agencies and producers have their own preferences and concerns about creative flexibility. Therefore, our platform is open and we're solely focused on creating the best possible asset and doing so in an easy, streamlined workflow, really no matter how you choose to do it. So we integrate directly with many of the preferred partners you see here on the screen, and we'll continue to work with clients to build further integrations that support their ongoing needs. And the creative tools lead to the creative concept. The essential idea behind creative concepts is to really demonstrate how a single asset library can be used in various formats and channels. So here on this slide, we show how a single creative asset in the asset library can be used to create video, social, and display concepts. Omnichannel concepts really get the most out of existing assets and can drive significant production savings. And then once you have your concept, they can scale as needed, unique to your format, channel, and audience strategy. Here we illustrate how the creative framework developed can be used to create various concepts and then segment them according to different types of audiences, for example, relevant to multiple products and messaging themes of this cosmetic brand. You'll also see here that the same frameworks can support relevance across each channel and device format. So again, using a singular framework while also incorporating best practices and guidelines across platforms to ensure there's also creative and it resonates within the native environment. So that's our create section. I think we may have time for one more.
Yes, we do. We have time for one more. And number 3 on the list was Iterate. So that goes back over to Ricky. Thank you, Megan.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. The final phase of our operating model, as I mentioned before, is all about learning and optimizing. And although the 3 main components, information gathering, insight development, and action are consistent between open web and social, I'm actually going to review our reporting tools separately because of the difference in data availability between the 2 ecosystems. So let's start with social. Our cross-publisher dashboards provide teams an easy interface to monitor campaigns across their social platforms. The ability to track pacing, visualize KPI trends, set up performance alerts, and jumpstart budget reallocation in a single interface provides significant time savings in campaign stewardship, performance tracking, and also risk management. Our performance dashboards provide more granular insights. So rather than just pulling budgets, it also is pulling creative and audience data. Now, the ability to customize time periods and customize KPIs allows teams to identify insights and uncover trends, but it's the shared collaboration and in-page optimization tools that enable faster in-market impact. And then for those brands who have established a single source of truth, our bring your own data and third-party integrations allow for more holistic measurement. Not only can we ingest and match your various data sources and create them into a single compiled report, but custom KPIs can also be created for a more unified approach to measurement, insights, and optimizations across all of your social publishers. From an open web perspective, our Report Hub offers one-click access to a variety of reports, including both standardized and custom reporting templates. Its goal is to provide brands direct access to the type and granularity of data needed to answer the question at hand, whether that's understanding overtime delivery, KPI trends across partners, version level performance, or pretty much any other detail. The Hub also enables automated and scheduled reporting so that your data is available at the frequency and in the format that best supports your existing workflows and process. In addition to our Report Hub, we also offer several dashboards for simpler, more visual answers to a handful of common questions. Our video dashboard, for example, visualizes key delivery and performance metrics unique to your video investment. This is a great dashboard for teams seeking to understand how their delivery may differ between devices, including desktop, mobile, and CTV. And it also helps you understand your campaign's aggregated reach, delivery, and performance metrics. Our identity dashboard helps brands understand the value of incorporating cookieless IDs into your measurement and attribution efforts. Not only will this dashboard quantify how rapidly cookies are deprecating specific to your campaign, but it will also provide a direct comparison to the persistence, accuracy, and value of both our user level and household level cookieless identity solutions. And our Creative Insights dashboard proves the connection between the message and the audience by visualizing how content performs differently across audience segments. Acting as a visual data grid, the size of the circle represents impression volume, whereas the color represents relative performance. And as the example shows here, it becomes very easy to see which concept, as shown along the left side, resonates with what audience, as shown along the top, so that identifying creative optimization opportunities becomes effortless. Now, where our dashboards seek to simplify and aggregate data, our log files are actually built for brands with the resources to analyze at the most granular level. Our files are user level, customizable, and transparent, ensuring you have complete access to and ownership of your own data. We also offer an enhanced version called Connected Logs, where we can facilitate user-level connections across otherwise disparate reports. The result offers brands immediate access to model-ready data spanning not just your ad server, but your DSP, verification, and data partners. All of these reporting views and dashboards are built to lead to creative insights and the opportunity to learn. But those learnings have little value unless you actually put them into action. So it's our hope that our end-to-end workflow offers you a structure for a continuous, seamless, and adaptable test and learn process. And more specifically, we hope that our final step, Iterate, is actually the kickoff to restart the workflow so that you can have that continual testing and learning benefit.
Great, thanks, Ricky. And thanks, Megan. So there you have it, everyone. That is our end-to-end workflow: create, automate, activate, and iterate. We obviously do not have time for the fourth one, which is activate. But those who want to have more detail, please reach out to your Flashtalking representative. And we'll be happy to walk you through either that section or the entire deck with your teams. It is our hope that what you've seen here is our platform with Flashtalking is not just a collection of random technologies, but it actually is integrated into a very powerful tool to help you connect your brand story across a fragmented media ecosystem. So with that, let me turn it over to Aaron Goldman, our Chief Marketing Officer, to conduct the wrap-up. Take it away, Aaron.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Megan and Ricky, and Grant as well for kicking things off. Very fun, choose your own adventure. Pleased to see we got to 3 out of 4, and maybe that's something we can keep going for future webinars. So thank you to everyone who participated and voted in the poll. Just a few final announcements before we wrap, and want to leave you with some parting gifts for your reading pleasure. The first is last week's announcement of a deeper connection with Google for Flashtalking Social Ads Manager. So for customers that use the product formerly known as Scope by 4C, we are building out capabilities to manage ads on specific Google inventory that will be highly valuable. So you can hit this QR code, and we'll also drop a link to the press release into the chat here if you want to learn more. And please do reach out to your Flashtalking or Mediaocean rep if you want to be part of the beta. Next up is a cool piece of content we produce with TikTok. We have Megan, who you all heard from today, and her colleague Perry Ann in conversation with Sonia Manga from TikTok, having a chat around the virtual water cooler. They covered short form video, leaning into creator content and more. And then if you fill out the form on that page, you can actually access 2 demo videos of some cool features we've built out for running ads on TikTok, including dynamic templates and optimizing reach and frequency. Next one is a great piece we put out on busting myths around personalization. So we took the 10 most common things we hear about what's preventing brands from doing all the cool stuff you saw in our webinar today, and we kind of laid out data-driven points of view to help combat them. So hit the code and download that one. The links are also in the chat. And then finally, we published a blog post outlining the 6 seismic shifts happening in advertising. So building a lot of what Grant showed earlier today, we talk about kind of what the trends mean and how advertisers and agencies can turn these challenges into opportunities. So be sure to check that out. And with that, I'll say thank you for joining our webinar today. We'll be back with another Mediaocean Current and hope that you can join. As always, we'll post the recording within the next day or 2 so that you can rewatch or share with your colleagues. So thanks again to our speakers. Thank you to everyone who joined, and have a great rest of the day wherever you are in the world. Bye-bye.